Sometimes availability can be a little tricky, but as far as productivity is concerned, it's definitely always for us been way more productive working from home. The fact that we have such flexible work schedules, all of us, we highly value that. We love it. It's wonderful to have some flexibility. And if I want to go upstairs and have lunch with, your spouse or kids or something like that, you can absolutely do that. It's also been a lot easier to make the adjustments when there have been lockdowns or closeouts and had the family or kids or whatever closer around. One part of that has always been just a little bit challenging is because of that flexibility, well, when do I know that I can get in touch with you? Well, we kind of solve that in our case by having regular desk phones through a voice over IP system. So I can call on the desk phone. You can choose to have it forwarded to your cell or not. Mm-hmm. And if they don't answer, they may not be available. They may send you back an IM or a text message that says, I'll call you back. I'm in the middle of a conference call. Sometimes availability can be a little tricky, but as far as productivity is concerned, it's definitely always for us been way more productive working from home. There's none of the lost time in a commute.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that. I mean, that alone, even considering, let's say, very modest and average, let's say, 30-minute commute.
Mm-hmm. And beyond just the time, and I love the time, I will definitely not minimize that, but you and I, before we started the session, we were looking off the porch at the beautiful valley here, and during a lot of the close down, the air was a lot cleaner because so few people were driving. Right. While it's not as bad as it could be, I'm all for much cleaner air. Being able to get back to nature, going camping, getting out in the middle of nowhere somewhere, and being able to disconnect is just as important to me as having the toys at home when I want them.
It's that work-life balance that a lot of companies and people are talking about, because they do see that people who have the availability of doing work at home and being able to spend more time with family or being able to have that extra hour a day, and that's time that you can really relax and just recharge and be just more productive. I just hope that we're not going to go back to, after this whole COVID, that we're not going to swing back into like, all right, come back to the office.
And of course, there are some people who simply have jobs that they have to be done in person. And hopefully we're clearing the roads so that they'll have a more pleasant commute. Hopefully they can listen to a good podcast, unplug on their way to and from by having less traffic, because those of us who don't really have to be there in person aren't there 5 or more days a week. It can really help improve the quality of life for everybody around us.
Thanks for listening to The Adrian Sinclair Show. You can find previous episodes on the Apodcast multi-channel network at apodcast.com. You can also stream this podcast on Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Podbean, and other audio platforms. And if you subscribe to our weekly newsletter, you'll get convenient short summaries of podcasts you may have missed. So check it out. And lastly, please, please, please support us by sharing our episodes on social media. We really appreciate it. Thanks.